You're listening to Well Met,
a
Hearthstone podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com.
Well met.
Hey everybody, welcome to episode 133 of Well Met. We're a Hearthstone podcast brought to you by BlizzPro.com. Today is November 20th, 2017. From Studio 6 in Denver, Colorado, I am KickedTripod. With me, of course, is the crew. Normal crew, 2 weeks in a row. We're doing good. Don't hold us to it, though. This probably, I don't know, probably won't happen again for another 3 blue moons or something like that. Let's go over to Kansas City with the one and only JR Cook. Hi, JR.
Hey, John. That was one heck of a way to start a show, man.
Appreciate it.
It's like all uphill from here. Like, it's just gonna be better.
I can think of one finger I would give you right now if we weren't a family-friendly show.
That we are number one at doing Hearthstone card reviews, and then a thumbs up.
I think it's the pinky for high class.
Yeah. Okay, John, never mind. It's all going downhill.
Yeah.
What is this?
People just want to listen to my intro again now. That's what they want.
Does your ring finger up have any significance?
It is for John. He's getting married soon.
Oh, see?
1 month. Which, by the way, guys, we need to figure out next month's schedule because I'm going to be gone for basically a month. So, yeah.
Now you're laying it down on us. I see how
Danny, you're taking over. I'm giving it to you.
Right. What?
There it is.
You have no faith in me.
You will never host this show. You will never, ever.
No, I didn't. It was with Danny. No.
That was a we'll call that a co-host.
Did he run the stream?
No,
he did.
I think he ran the physical stream.
I don't remember.
That's why it has so
I don't remember
downloads.
either.
Anyways, hey, JR, how do you like your iPhone 10? Still liking it?
It's the best phone I've ever had.
Nice.
Really? That's bold.
It is.
Bold.
Like I can't. Okay. So the history of like phones I've had, like smartphones. I actually started out with the Palm Pre back in the day. I didn't even go with iPhone to begin with. I switched to Android because the Palm Pre was a piece of junk that wasn't supported. Yeah, that wasn't supported by, that was back in the day when smartphones are just becoming a thing and just trying to figure out the landscape, right? I went to Android and used that for years and years and years. I got tired of Samsung in general because of their battery problems and on Sprint, like Sprint would just add this junk to Android phones to begin with. I switched to iPhone a few years ago, and I really enjoyed the iPhone 6 Plus, and it's been a good phone, so I decided to go with the iPhone 10, and it's just like, I've been surprised by how good it is. So there you go.
I really like mine too. I've been so happy with it, except for playing Hearthstone on it.
Agreed.
Because they haven't optimized it yet.
And any Google app is terrible because they haven't updated the UI.
Yeah,
really? My phone runs Hearthstone fine.
I mean, it runs it great, but like with iPhone, it's a wider screen in landscape mode with a notch, and if you don't code that into it, it just basically finds the biggest old resolution that it can and blows it up to that. So you have, and it
throws you off.
Yeah, completely. So you have like half an inch on each side of just black. It's not great. Yeah. Not great.
Huh.
Get it together, like Hearthstone, please.
Yeah, exactly.
And thank you. Yeah. Anyway, sorry, we will never talk about technology at the beginning. Ray, hey, you spoke already. RayC, competitive Hearthstone extraordinaire, all the way up to rank 5, are you?
You mean, is it up or down? Which way is the opposite of climbing? I climbed the wrong way. I was ranked 2 at one point, and then I started to play really bad decks. Like today on stream, I played Aggro Priest, and it went really well. I won like maybe a couple games with it, out of maybe like 10, 20. You know, really tried to optimize that list, get it solid. Ended the stream with a really good list. I have a 100% win rate currently. I've played one game with the current list.
You should retire it. Keep it at 100%.
That's what I was thinking. We're going to become an arena streamer for the rest of the month, boys. No, I'm actually not. I'm going to keep playing.
I'm just kidding. Arena players, it's a joke. Settle down. Send your angry emails to jrcook@blizzpro.com.
No. I'm gonna. I might make the push to legend with like Kazakus Priest or something. But playing something like Zoo, it's so repetitive. I've done it so many times, and like I said before, there's really no reason to get legend or get high legend right now outside of Twitter points or bragging rights or something like that. And to me, it's just I've been having fun just messing around and having a good time on stream and being derpy. So I'm just doing whatever.
Nice. Well, let's go to our last one here. I know the intros are gone anyway, but who cares? DannyDonuts. Hi, Danny.
Hey, John. How's it going?
Dude, you're going to get a prime spot on this week's episode. People have noticed, and I just need to say, for the record, as soon as we stopped recording last week, the first thing I said was, Danny, I am so sorry. Because Danny didn't get to speak a lot last week. He was the only person who didn't go to BlizzCon, and he plays Wild. So we're like...
Hey, to be fair, though, I did run an entire episode without you guys. So it does balance out.
You did. We just felt really bad. And I don't want you to think it was something that we didn't notice or did on purpose.
We didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah, it wasn't.
Yeah.
We usually try to shoulder Ray out as much as we can, but Danny,
Whoa,
people love Danny.
I thought we felt bad for the viewers because they had to listen to you more often. I didn't know we were feeling bad because Danny couldn't talk.
We did a good job of shouldering you out last week, Ray. So we kept that under wraps pretty well, but it was a lot of JR and I. And it was a lot of me posing cynical questions. So anyways, Danny, it's good to have you back. It's like you took last week off. He never left, but it's like it was kind of like he was gone. So hey, you legend yet?
Nope. Been doing a lot of other stuff. Mostly watching Hearthstone at this point. Haven't really had the motivation similar to Ray to climb, but there's a bunch of cool things that were going on recently in Wild, like the Control the Board Wild Invitational, where we had 8 of the best Wild players play in a format. So a lot of cool decks were brought to that. It's pretty interesting.
Cool. Nice. Well, I can't wait to hear more about that, but we've got a big day today. Let's just go ahead and let's just jump straight into it. All right, it is card review season. Kobolds and Catacombs is coming up soon, and today was the first day that we got more card reviews or more cards to be reviewed since the initial BlizzCon release. And man, it was pretty good. I did something on purpose. We have such like high quality analysis on the show with Danny and Ray and JR here. I purposefully did not do any theory crafting or diving deep in the cards. I've seen them all once and done. So that's it. But I know we've got a ton of expertise on the show to kind of talk about these new cards. But first, let's talk about the live stream that we had earlier today. Did any of you guys get to watch it?
I watched a little bit of it. Yeah, it was pretty interesting. I mean,
it was Kibler and Peter Whalen, right?
Yeah, it was Kibler and Peter Whalen. I mean, they talked a lot of the part that I watched. They were talking about the spellstones, and basically, they just kind of explained that it's a value card and just really basic stuff to me. But all I heard was it could be good, but like they don't really know yet. Like we kind of have to play with it a lot to kind of get a feel for it. It's really hard to judge those cards. And when we were interviewing like Yongwu and them at BlizzCon, I talked to them about their internal testing group, and that's one of the things that they mentioned was that the live servers will play 1 million more games than they'll ever be able to play in their internal testing group to really gauge the power of cards like Spellstone and just how good they are and how much like power to like cost. You know what I mean? Like, is 7 mana overcosted for the effects? Could it be 6? Could it be 8? It's really hard to gauge those things, but the live servers will be able to help them figure that out a lot better.
Cool. So what we saw today, right, is we saw 9 new cards, correct? 9 new cards, kind of 11 because one of them is the Spellstone. We saw the Warrior Spellstone card, which goes up each time you play it, right? It upgrades. So we had that revealed. We'll review it in a second. So 9 new cards, including 1 legendary weapon, 1 legendary minion, and my favorite, rogue secrets. We saw 2 of the 3 rogue secrets we're going to see in this expansion. And Danny, I want to hear from you first, man. What do you think of the idea of rogues becoming a secret class?
I really like it. It's pretty cool thematically because like rogues are always like the shifty, sneaky class, and then secrets fall in line with that. But I'm a little bit more attached to these than the average player would be because in Wild we have a card called Mad Scientist, which is really broken with secrets, and it'll be really cool to see that run in Rogue. Whereas it's never been in Rogue before, and because of these 2 cards, I wouldn't be surprised if in like tempo Rogue decks we start seeing Mad Scientist come back into like the Rogue class, which has never been there. So that should be really cool.
And for people who are maybe a little bit newer to Hearthstone and haven't really played since we had the splitting of Wild and Standards, Mad Scientist is a 2-mana 2/2, right? With a death rattle that's play a secret from your deck into the battlefield, right?
Yep.
So it immediately goes into play. It doesn't even draw it or anything. It goes immediately into play. It's one of the most powerful cards that we saw, and that was from Nax Ramis. And so now rogues will get that treatment as well, running some Mad Scientists. That's pretty cool. JR, what did you think, man? Rogues going secret?
Yeah, I thought it was, I think it's pretty cool. I think it's interesting that they said that we're not going to see rogue secrets at all in the next set, but that we might see it more in the future beyond that. So I thought that was kind of interesting. They also said that rogues were originally when they made Hearthstone, rogues were supposed to be a secret class and Paladin wasn't. And they moved Paladin to the secret class away from Rogue because Rogue had all these other things, if you remember, with Classic, with combos and things like that, that they had a lot of things that they can do. So they moved secrets over to Paladins instead. So it's kind of cool that they're bringing it back. I'm hoping to see maybe some other classes in the future pick up these secrets as well.
Yeah. Any other... Sorry, Ray, go ahead.
So what do you guys predict for the 3rd secret? Because like Danny said, it has a thematic scheme, and they have a card that basically, one of the secrets is a mimic of Shadow Step, one of them mimics Betrayal. What do you guys think the 3rd one will be? I kind of think it might be a copy the spell and it costs 3 less, like a prep secret.
I think it's going to be like Conceal.
Can we do something? Can we review the 2 secrets first and then come back to it? Because that's a great question, and I want to do that, but I don't want to speculate about the 3rd before people have heard the 1st and 2nd, because it might kind of be like, oh, I haven't been able to do that yet. Is that okay?
Yeah,
That's a really good
my
question.
bad.
Okay. No, it's totally fine. Let's do that. Any other thoughts, not specifically card related, before we just start jumping into this card reveal or card review?
I'm excited, and I actually wanted to give a quick shout out to one of our Discord members, Edelweiss, I believe that's how you say it. She played in the big cash cup that happened the other day, and she actually won the whole thing. She won like $300 or something. She beat Muzzy. She beat my teammate. She beat all of us, actually, and she's one of the people that pays to get coaching from me for the Patreon every single month. And to see her go from like being a rank 15, rank 10 player to getting a few months of coaching and then winning like this big tournament, that's just really cool for me as like somebody who helped. I don't know. It's just a really cool feeling. And yeah, it was crazy.
She's been in our Discord for a while and has been really, really like always brings up really great thoughts and great conversations. So congratulations, Edelweiss, and thank you for everything. And hope to see you become better than Ray so we can boot him. Sorry,
wow.
was that a little too raw? Sorry, that might have been a little too raw.
Anyways,
yeah, cool. Awesome. Anything else from you guys, or can we start reviewing cards?
I'm good to go.
All right, let's start reviewing cards then. The first one we are going to review is the Feral Gibberer. It is a 1 mana, 1/1 rare neutral minion. Reads, after this minion attacks a hero, add a copy of it to your hand. Cool.
I think that it's called Gibberer. Because, yeah, I think it's Gibberer because it's a whole bunch of gibberish on that card text right there.
Okay. Tell me more. What do you think about this card, Ray?
Well, after this minion attacks a hero, you add a copy of it to your hand. It is a 1 mana 1/1. So in theory, it has infinite value potential because you attack your opponent's hero, you get one in your hand, and now it's on turn 2, so you play the one that you got from your hand. Now you have 2 of them, blah, blah, blah. You just gets you a bunch of 1-drops if it gets to keep attacking. Whether or not that's going to be good depends on certain things. Like, I don't know, maybe it could be good in like Quest Rogue or something because it copies itself. Ooh, and then you have cards. Yeah, there's like really niche uses for it that involve cards that interact with other multiples. But outside of that, like as a card being played in some type of tempo deck or aggressive deck, it seems very out of place there, but it could be good in some type of niche combo deck that like that. It's going to have some outside of the box use, but it also looks like a deranged Karibo. Just want to throw that out there.
It's got a really big mouth, Ray.
It's talking gibberish.
It is talking gibberish. It's kind of like a gremlin. Kind of. It's like a Furby and a gremlin and something else. It's honestly, it's a nightmare Furby. That's
you know what's funny? Peter Whalen thought this was the cutest card of the expansion. So if that's setting the bar, this is like the snow flipper penguin of the expansion.
I don't cuddle with things with teeth, which is why I cuddle with Raid's grandma. So
I have no grandparents; they're all dead.
Okay, mine too. It's just a joke. It's like your mom joke. Okay,
my mom's dead.
But no, she's not. That one I know is not true. You dirty jerk. Anyways, Ray. All right, not Ray. I already asked. Danny, what do you think about this card? You got any potentials here for Wild or elsewhere?
I mean, not off the top of my head, but I mean, some of the things you find hidden uses for cards like this. Like Snow Flipper Penguin is now seeing a lot of play in like in Wild and like Hobgoblin decks. So similar to that, you could see this potentially fitting into maybe a token druid in Wild where you have Hobgoblin and you can buff it up to a 3/3. So that could be pretty interesting.
Interesting. Ray, or gosh, no, Ray,
Really,
not
keep calling
Ray.
him Ray.
God, I don't know why. JR.
We're all Ray now.
We're all
Ray now.
I am Ray. It's like Negan. Yeah.
Yeah.
Got it.
So this card, like Danny said, like if this had like a beast tag on it or something like Snow Flipper Penguin, this card could potentially be really broken. But unfortunately, it doesn't have any of that. So it's going to be rough to get this, I think, to work. I think the best place for it would be Quest Rogue, like Ray said, because a 5/5 of this and making more is kind of scary. But at that point, if you have the quest already popped off, I mean, you're probably looking at winning that game anyway. The one thing I did want to say about this card, because I think there's a lot of misconception around it in the community right now, is some people think because of the wording, it says add a copy of it to your hand. And people think like if you buff this card, like if you put charge on it, or if you do any kind of buff mechanic on that card, they think that is going to put a copy of that with all of the buffs in your hand.
That's what I was going to ask. So
and it doesn't. It
does
doesn't.
not.
Yeah, Mike Donay said that copies only happen on the play of field where it is. Once it moves out of that zone, then all of the buffs are gone, and you just have the base. So if it's
buffed in your hand and you play it, and then attack, it will keep that buff?
No. Anytime this returns to your hand, it's going to be its base stats.
So it'll be its vanilla. It'll just be vanilla stats every time. Right. No matter what you do to it, it'll be a 1-mana 1/1.
Correct.
Correct. Even if you have like Mist Caller.
Mist Caller only affects the cards that were in your deck.
Yeah.
So it would be like you're drawing. Imagine if you're generating a card off of the board. What's that minion? There's that recruiter minion that has Inspire from TGT. The recruiter, when you inspire, you get a 1/1 minion or a 2/2 minion or something. That doesn't get buffed by those effects.
So it's like you wouldn't be able to use this with Prince.
Like
Kel'Thuzad.
Firefly off of Kel'Thuzad. Yeah.
Yeah. You wouldn't be able to use it with like Firefly off of Kel'Thuzad.
So no matter what, it's a 1-mana 1/1.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a 1/1. You're not getting extra stats from anything you do to it in your hand, in your deck, or on the board.
Yeah. You're still getting its ability.
Right.
But yeah, you're not getting any extra stats or anything.
And that's
what also makes it kind of like not as good either, because if you could have used this with Kel'Thuzad or anything else, this card would have been really good. But because of that, it's a 1/1/1, easy to kill. I don't think it's gonna be that good of a card.
It's not Patches 2.0.
No.
Okay. Good. All right, let's jump to some of these rogue quests here, because this is pretty exciting. So the first one we have is Sudden Betrayal, aka when Ray stopped coaching me in Hearthstone. It's a 2-mana rogue secret. So rogue secrets will be 2 mana. Reads secret: when a minion attacks your hero, instead it attacks one of its neighbors. So this is like, is that like misdirect? Except that it's friendly?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like Betrayal of the card, but it just attacks one of the neighbors instead of both. Otherwise it'd be adjacent.
But the only difference is this is different than Betrayal because both are going to take the damage because they attacked each other. Right?
Yes.
Right. Like, and yeah, but it has like a betrayal like theme. What's the word? Like, is theme like a good word for it? Like,
yeah, I think
thematically,
thematically.
So question, I have an immediate question. Is when it says neighbors, I'm assuming that means a minion on the right or left.
Correct. Adjacent. Yeah, it means an adjacent minion.
It means an adjacent minion and not just any friendly minion.
Correct.
That's interesting. Are they going to change other cards from saying adjacent minions to neighbors, or is this going to be another disguised toast video?
I think like a neighbor means one. Like when it says neighbors, it means one of the adjacent minions. But if it buffs both of them, like Direwolf Alpha will never say give +1 attack to its neighbors. I think it'll just say adjacent minion. But if it said at the end of your turn, give +1/+1 to a neighbor, then that means one or the other of an adjacent. Like if it did both, then it would just say adjacent minions.
Well, I mean
that makes sense.
Do you think it's just distinguishing between 2 and 1? So like 2 is going to be adjacent and 1 is going to be neighbor?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Fine. I would have just rather them like either include the term neighbor or just be like, and it attacks one of the adjacent, a random adjacent minion. But that's just the consistency person in me. Danny, what do you think about this card? First rogue secret we see.
This should be really interesting when you're playing against a rogue now, because positioning matters every single time you play a minion now. So now when, like, beforehand, a lot of games, you don't really care about positioning unless you're playing up against a mage where they have, like, meteor coming down. But now, to play around this secret, you will have to be relatively vigilant about where you play your minions so that you can go in and, just in case, you put your Lich King next to a 1/1. So if your Lich King attacks, it will go and only take 1 damage. And so it'll be interesting to see how people adapt to this secret.
Yeah, don't play it like they showed on the stream.
Yeah,
where you had a gastropod next to Lich King, and they draw a minion and didn't play it right in between the two before they attacked. So yeah,
Interesting. All right, Ray, give me the competitive synopsis here. What are you running Secret Rogue? With
Do I have Mad Scientist back in Standard?
It would be a great Mad Scientist card for sure.
They might give some support to Rogue Secrets. They might make a Mad Scientist-esque card for Rogue Secrets. I could see that happening. It also will come into play off of cards like Swashbuckler, whatever steals cards, like Thought Steal, whatever. Curious Glimmerroot, maybe. I don't know. But I think that this card probably won't see play in the decks themselves, since the effect is easier to play around. Like, at a high level, people will be weary of this card, since there's only going to be 3 Rogue Secrets. It's not that difficult to deduce which secrets it's going to be, and it's pretty easy to play around. So, like Misdirection, it'll have some potential niche uses, but most likely it will just be relegated to like fringe play when people really, really don't expect it, because at the high levels, people are just going to be able to play around it pretty easily. But it is 2 mana, so all Rogue Secrets from here on out are going to be 2 mana. I feel like they're always going to keep that consistent. All the secrets are going to cost the same, and I mean,
is that so with that, right, means that Keleseth Rogue and Secret Rogue are not a thing, correct?
No.
Because you have to play the secrets before you play Keleseth.
No, you can't play 2 drops in your deck at all.
Yeah. So that's interesting, right?
They'll need to print secret support for the Rogue class in order for this secret in particular to see play.
That's kind of what I feel like. I feel like in the end, it's a really cool secret, but you know, throwing 6 secrets in your deck, let's just say that all secrets are playable and you're going to play a secret rogue deck. There has to be something that, that makes it easier to get those secrets out there. And right now I'm scratching my head going, what helps a rogue get secrets out there? In standard, in wild, you have mad scientist, right? So like that can be, I think, a great secret for that. You're basically putting up a minion with taunt if that mad scientist dies and and thinning your deck, right?
I mean, I think Mad Scientist is the best card ever created in Hearthstone.
It probably is, yeah.
Yep.
Like,
I
it's not even close for me personally. Like, that card is just insane. It thins your deck. It is card advantage, and it allows you to play more cards that you would have never actually played before. So,
and you get to do it early game.
Yeah,
yeah,
but
and it's a 2-mana 2/2. Yeah.
For me, I miss that card a lot, but I hope that they print something similar, even if it's a 3-mana Mad Scientist. I think
Scientist?
Matter Scientist. He's the maddest of all the scientists.
Yeah,
That'll be cool.
It'll be a mad research assistant, like the step below a scientist. That's 3 mana.
Like, no, that could be the rogue one. The mad research assistant. He's the scientist that went rogue.
Ah.
The
Get it?
scientist that went rogue. Oh my god. JR, tell me what you think about this card.
I mean, to me, it's like it's like you said, it's misdirection, except a little bit weirder because if they only have one minion in attack, then it's not going to pop off, and because it won't have something else to attack. So I kind of like misdirection better in that regard. At the same time, it's not going to kill one of your dudes, so that's cool, or potentially kill one of your dudes. But I don't know. It's of the two that were revealed, this is the one that I'm least excited about.
Let's talk about this second one then. Let's talk about Cheat Death. Cheat Death is the other rogue secret, 2 mana, of course. Reads, secret, when a friendly minion dies, return it to your hand. It costs 2 less. So it's like a secret shadow step, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
This is the shadow step thematic secret, I guess, which is why I think the next one might be a preparation themed one, but it says that when a minion dies, return it to your hand, it costs 2 less. So it reminds me of Redemption in a sense. And is it good enough?
No, it reminds me of Kodo.
Yeah, Getaway Kodo. This is super Getaway Kodo.
Oh yeah, that's true, Kodo. I think it could see some play if there are really high value targets that do well when they get Shadow Step back to your hand, and they are hard to ignore. I'm not really sure exactly off the top of my head what they can be, but if you play a rogue deck that only plays cards like Vilespine Slayer, Prince Kaliseth, well, I guess you couldn't play those 2 cards in the same deck. I don't know, just like really high value cards like that.
I can tell you exactly why I'm excited about this card. And it's because of a style of rogue that we haven't seen for a little bit of time. It's still sort of popular. It was really popular back in the day, but this goes perfect into Miracle Rogue. Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Gadgetzan Auctioneer. Prep and play this. And Auctioneer a lot of times is your only minion on the board. If they kill it, guess what? You got a 4-mana Auctioneer you can play again next turn and keep doing your thing as Miracle Rogue. That's why I'm excited about this card, and not as excited about the other one, because I actually see real utility being used with this card.
Yeah, there's also a lot of other random niche scenarios like the Shazra as well. So if you're playing Miracle, not only does it have synergy with the Gadgetzan, like I'm assuming you're playing Shazra, cards like that. So when Shazra dies, you get the plan on the board that sticks around whenever you play 4 spells. It comes back, but you also get the Shazra back in your hand, costing 2 less. So then you have like double recurring plant monsters.
Yeah. And once again, that gets played in Miracle Rogue now, or at least it was back in the day. So
Yeah, that's what made me think of it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of cool synergies with this card.
What do you think, Danny? What did we miss?
I think that was pretty good. That's pretty much the same ideas that I had about the card. I really want to see some type of like controls grinder style of rogue where you use like Valera and then you play a bunch of things. So that's what I want to see, and that this secret would fit into that really well. I think that it's going to be pretty interesting to see what the next secret is, though.
Ooh.
I think that personally, I think the next secret is going to be similar to the Valera effect, where it's going to be something to the effect of a hero, a minion attacks your hero, and then your hero gains stealth for the rest of that turn. So that's what I think the secret would be.
So there's two themes. There's two themes with these secrets. One of them is they kind of act like a spell or something that the rogue has already. Betrayal, and this with Shadow Step. However, there's also the first one was Misdirection, basically, which is a hunter secret. This one is Kodo, sort of Getaway Kodo, which is a paladin secret. So the next one could also be like something also similar to something that the mage has. So I think you have to think of something that the mage has that the rogue also potentially has a spell similar to it.
Which is Conceal Ice Block, yeah. That's what I think it's going to be.
Yep.
Ooh, that's good. I actually just thought of something when Danny said control. Imagine a scenario where you play this on turn 8 and you just jam Malygos on turn 9 and say, "What's up, bro?" Like, what do they do?
Ooh.
What do they do if you just jam Malygos on turn 9 with this secret up? They can kill it, but you get it back for 7 mana, and then you get to do crazy things because it's a 7 mana Malygos.
Yep.
Or they don't kill it, and you have a Malygos on the board, and they're dead.
I think this is a good time. You guys have already started doing it. Let's speculate about the third secret here. So JR, what were you kind of saying it is? You think it's going to be some form of...
I sort of agree with Danny that it's going to be some ice block style thing with how Valera works.
Okay.
And
Ray,
I'm on.
What did you say? Now that we have the context, what was your idea?
My idea was preparation secret. So when your opponent plays a spell, you get a copy of that spell, but it costs 3 less. That's also similar. That's also similar to a mage secret.
Yeah, because they have that mage secret where you get a copy of it for 0 mana, basically.
Yeah.
Interesting. I would love to see something to where I don't know. I need to think about it more. I don't have enough time to think about it. It would be really cool to do like something with like an eviscerate thing. Like I hope that they don't do this, but I could totally see them saying, like if your opponent plays a card, or when your opponent plays, deal 4 damage to it, and basically it's just like a free eviscerate.
Like a snipe, maybe? Something similar to
a very similar to like a snipe. Maybe it's 3, maybe it's 4. I don't know. But I can see him do that. I also think, though, maybe like what if they had some sort of like blade flurry type of effect to where you attack when you attack your hero, do 1 damage to all your minions or something like that.
No.
Kill your weapons damage to all minions. That's interesting.
Ooh.
No, that's too much. That's too much stuff. Too much.
Well, one side note is I'm interested to see how strong this next secret is, to see the power level of these secrets. Because one thing that you see in Mage a lot is that if you are playing a deck that runs Ice Block, you might run Ice Barrier as a weaker level secret. So I feel that by running one secret, it improves the power level of another secret. So that's something that I want to see with these. If this last rogue secret is like really, really good, like Ice Block or something, is it good enough to let one of these other secrets see competitive play in a deck that normally wouldn't see secrets?
Interesting.
The redundancy of cards. Yeah.
I see if they did an ice block style secret for Rogue, I would play Miracle Rogue all day. Like that would be ridiculous.
Interesting. That's it for Rogue Secrets for now. We'll get that third one eventually. We've got lots of cards to review still. We're 45 minutes in, and we still have 6 more cards. So let's keep it moving here for a second. Let's talk about the Rune Spear. This is an 8 mana, 3 attack, 3 durability. Shaman.
I think we skipped one.
Did I? Yep. No.
We skipped the dragon.
Duskbreaker. You're right. Duskbreaker. Let's talk about that instead. Fine.
We skipped the best card.
Yeah, this is a really good card.
All right. Duskbreaker is a 4 mana, 3/3 rare priest dragon. Reads Battlecry. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all other minions. Why is this a good card, Danny?
Because it's an Excavated Evil for 4 mana, and you get a body afterwards. And like Excavated Evil was one of the best board control spells for Priest. Like it's run over Holy Nova, and like just being able to have one of the big issues that you had, I mean, especially now in Wild as well with Excavated Evil, is that if you clear your opponent's board, you don't have anything left over, and your opponent can start to develop afterwards. And by having a 3/3 on board, this you can go and contest anything that your opponent's going to play. And the big thing is by turn 4 in most aggro decks, they won't be playing anything most of the time that's above 3 health. So you can actually get like a full clear. In Wild, it's a little bit different. You have Totem Golem and some other stuff. But I think that this is going to be a very, very good card.
Okay. Ray,
one other thing.
Do you agree? Disagree? Or sorry, one more thing. Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say one other thing. I really like this card because it doesn't fit into Reno Priest. This card is like the power level of Kazakus Raza Priest is rather high, and this card doesn't necessarily go into a deck unless you really make it dragon themed, which doesn't happen much. So it doesn't promote the current archetype of Priest that's the most dominant, and it promotes another one while being extremely powerful. So that's why I like this card a lot.
Cool.
Yeah, to play off of that, in Standard, there actually is a Dragon Reno Priest, not Reno, but like Kazakus, Raza, Anduin, thingamabob, dragon thing that's like on the rise a little bit because
cool.
Yeah, I think it's not necessarily because it's better. I think it's just because people are bored of playing the same old 30 card list over and over and over again, with like slight variations. So people are trying out like a dragon theme. And with this card, I think that could actually push that archetype to be equally as good as the current Anduin Raza singleton deck that we're starting to see everywhere all the time, 24/7. But outside of just Raza, Anduin, singleton decks, I think that this card could single-handedly bring Dragon Priest back into the metagame. And in a vacuum, I think this is one of the best cards ever printed.
Dang. JR, what do you think?
This might be the best card we see in the set, and I agree with Ray that it might be one of the best cards ever printed as well. It's just really powerful. It's
if you're taking, if you got like, your well-met scorecard at home, by the way, make sure to put an asterisk next to this card of like the sweeping hype or saying it's not good on this show. This is one of those saying that this is probably the best one. All right, sorry, JR, I interrupted. Continue.
No problem. Like the other big thing about it is it's a 4 mana card for Priest, and that's something that Priest has a lot of issues with. You can see this card probably go into obviously a dragon style deck, but one that can get rid of aggro early by a 4th turn. Because not a lot of aggro decks play anything above 3 health to begin with. And then for something that isn't aggro, you can play your little inner fire combo junk to eke out a win against the other kind of decks. So it's going to be tough to play against a deck of that style.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. Cool. Any lingering thoughts on Duskbreaker?
I do actually. I feel that this card might actually impact Priest in the competitive scene as well. When you come in and if you're doing like a best of 5 or something, normally you are typically expecting either Big Priest or Raza Priest right now. But this could add a third deck that's not like a combo style deck. That's more of like an anti-aggro deck. So like now you have all the avenues covered from Priest. You have like an anti-aggro deck, you have like a control style deck, and you have a combo deck. So I feel that all three of those really makes Priest better in like the competitive scene.
Oh boy, because we needed Priest to be better. I mean, Danny's right. That's actually one of the most annoying things about playing in a non-open list format tournament is that when you play against something like, let's say, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago or whatever, whenever Quest Warrior really picked up a lot of hype, but Pirate Warrior was also viable, whenever you would play at a DreamHack and somebody would have Warrior, the difference between whether or not it was Pirate Warrior or Quest Warrior was literally whether or not you win or lose. Like, if you ban the wrong class because you don't know what their deck is, like, you just could immediately lose the whole series without even playing or drawing a card. Now that Priest has so many archetypes, whether or not you're playing against a Control Priest, a Big Priest, or a Raza Priest, and if you guess wrong in a non-open list format, like, you could just immediately lose because of that stuff. Which is scary.
Can I make a bold prediction?
Dang.
What?
Of what we'll see beyond this next set.
Ooh.
The next set beyond Kobolds and Catacombs, you're going to see a crab that can eat dragons.
I want a crab that can eat beasts first. A crab that can eat beasts. A Hemet crab.
No. Dragon-eating crab. That would have to be like 3 or 4 mana or something, because dragons are pretty big. Like a big game hunter for dragons.
Can eat dragons.
Big game hunter crab.
Because of this card.
They'll literally print Brian Kibler on a card because he's the dragon tamer or whatever. What's his nickname? The Dragon Master. It'll just be him on a card.
No thanks. All right, next one. Next one, we've got the Rune Spear. 8 mana, 3/3 shaman legendary weapon. Reads, after your hero attacks, discover a spell and cast it with random targets.
So
after your hero attacks, discover a spell and cast it with random targets. All right.
So this is the first weapon that we've seen that actually loses durability, because the other weapons just have a passive effect where you don't really do anything. It just kind of sits there and it does what it does. This one, you actually have to be active with it. You have to attack. It only really has 3 uses unless you upgrade it. And its effect, even though it says cast it with random targets, I don't think that's a bad thing for Shaman. Look at all of Shaman's spells. Most of them that you want to be getting with this are AoE. So it doesn't actually matter. What Shaman spells actually target something besides Jade Lightning or Lightning Bolt? Pretty much none of them, right?
The heal spell, the one that heals you for 7 or 14 based off of the Joust. Is that a wild only card?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry.
That's a wild only one. For standard, at least, almost every single one of them are AoEs. And I think that this card could be very strong if they print a card that gives you board presence. Like, Free from Amber is in Priest. If they print a card that's like Free from Amber on a lesser scale for Shaman, like discover an overload minion and summon it, then I think that this card could be really, really good.
You have the Spellstone too, the new Spellstone for Shaman that essentially duplicates one of your friendly minions. That'd be a pretty cool one to get.
The Lesser Sapphire Spellstone. Summon 1 copy of a friendly minion, overload 3 mana, crystals to upgrade.
Yeah,
right. That's the one.
I mean, that's insane too, right? Like, all of these most likely are not going to be random, because most of the time you're going to have one minion, or you're going to get AoE because you're like, so like the first hit you're going to get AoE because you're going to be behind. The second hit you can get the lesser healing sapphire after playing a minion, and since you only have one minion, it's random, so it's going to randomly copy your one minion.
So I'm going to disagree with Ray on this. He seems pretty high up on this. He thinks it's going to be pretty good. We have a card that was brought out in Journey to Ungoro called Tolan Primalist, which is an 8 mana 5/4, which has a battle cry, discover a spell, and cast it with random targets. How often does that card get played?
I watch Toast stream. He plays it at least once a week. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, this is a meme card, exactly.
No, but like in all seriousness, this card.
We tried playing with this card because I remember reviewing this card thinking it was going to be good, and then you play it, and then the card screwed you over more often than it actually helped. And
how often do people try to play that in Shaman, though? A lot of the times, a lot of people tried to play that in Mage. I remember that. I've never tried that card out in Shaman myself.
I mean, I don't think that this card can be really compared to that, because it's 3 times it's Shaman, where most likely you're going to get AoE, and that card was really counterintuitive, or like, what's the word? It just like countered itself in Shaman. Like if you're going to pay 8 mana to get Lightning Storm or something, like that's just bad. The body's irrelevant. With this card, you hit their face or hit a minion, get a Lightning Storm, clear their board, and then you have 2 extra uses.
Or you get Volcano and destroy your board with everybody else's.
But the thing is, you're playing this for 8, though, so you're playing a control deck. So if you get Volcano, you probably don't have anything on board anyway. So that just affects the opponent's minions.
Yeah.
Right, that's what I'm saying. This is like not comparable to the Turtle Man, because it's just so different.
I think the 3 uses of it is pretty big as well.
Yeah,
if it was just one effect, it would be interesting. One other thing that I feel is that even if this doesn't see much play in Shaman, it really affects the balance of weapon destroying mechanics, right? So let's say Shaman is a class where let's say it doesn't become popular. Then you have instances where Harrison Jones might not be run as much in the meta. So other decks that do run weapons will be able to get it off a little bit more consistently. So I feel that if this is maybe not as good, then potentially it could help bolster other weapon classes, other artifacts that will be coming out.
Did you say bolster?
I did say bolster.
I got excited.
JR just like, dang. All right.
I'm not gonna lie, my taunts got buffed a little bit.
Fair enough. All right. That's enough of that one. Let's go to branching paths before people think too much about what Ray just said. Branching paths. It's a 4 mana epic druid spell. Reads, choose twice, draw a card, or give your minions +1 attack, or gain 6 armor. Correct? So you get to choose one of those 3 2 times.
Yes.
Okay.
So you can choose the same thing twice
if
you wanted to.
Right. Which
Fair
is
enough.
The armor gain is pretty much on par for like mana. So if you choose gain armor twice, it's 12 armor, where Feral Rage is 8 armor for 3 mana, and that saw a lot of play in its heyday. So for 1 more mana, you get 4 more armor if you choose to go all armor. So I would say all of the effects are pretty equal to the costs. Like it's a really balanced card, and I like it a lot. I love cards with a lot of versatility.
I think that's the most interesting thing about this one is the versatility, right? You can draw 2 cards. You can basically get a little mini Savage Roar going that persists. You can gain 12 armor. There's a lot of things going on there that work for this card, but none of them, the one thing I noticed is that none of them are really better than what we had before in the past of cards that got nerfed. Like, I don't think this replaces like what Ancient of Lore did or Savage Roar, but it's like, oh, okay, there's something there. There's something there that can be done. What do you think, Danny?
So, just in general, I feel that the effects as is, like drawing 2 cards for 4 mana, giving your minions +2 attack for 4 mana, or gaining 12 armor for 4, directly aren't on the power level of what you can do with other cards, but that flexibility allows for the card to be good. So I feel that this is really going to be a mainstay for controlling type of druid cards where the flexibility is needed, where you go into a position where you're playing against aggro, so you need more armor, or you're playing against a combo deck, so you need more draw. But like I was talking with some people and they were trying to see if you could fit this into a more aggressive druid deck, like a replacement for Savage Roar and aggro druid. And I think that the effects being not exactly as good as you could do with one simple version of the card, like Mark of the Lotus being 1 mana, makes it only good for those bigger druids as opposed to some of the aggro druids. So I think that you'll like I said, you'll see it in some of the slower druid archetypes, but not the faster ones.
Yeah, I mean, Jade Druid's playing Mark of the Lotus, and Jade Druid is even sometimes playing Savage Roar. Imagine Jade Druid being able to cut those cards and then add this card. That seems really good. So Mark of the Lotus is mainly used for buffing up either wide, small Jade boards or after a Spreading Plague. So you Spreading Plague, even if you don't get to buff immediately with this card, you still get to do +2 attack on each one of your Spreading Plague minions, which seems really strong to me. And on top of that, if you don't need the buff, then obviously you can draw cards. And on top of that, you could just gain armor. And that's one of the things that Jade Druid's really lacking right now is just, I feel like I play against a lot of burn mages or Gunther mages, whatever you want to call it. Those type of Jaina controlling mages. And I get burned out playing Jade Druid because I don't have that armor gain that I used to have when I played Feral Rage and stuff like that.
Do you see this being played in Token Druid at all?
I see it being played in a mid-rangey Token Druid, 100%. I see it playing... This is instantly going into Jade Druid. Like, not even a thought. This is instantly going into Jade Druid, and it's probably going into a big Druid as well, at least as a one-of.
Interesting, because my initial thoughts on this card, you guys have swayed me a little bit, but I'll tell you my initial thoughts anyway, is I was looking at this card and I'm like, this card is really good. The problem is Druid has so many good cards right now. Where does this even fit in at? What, why would I include it? I could see it after the rotation, like you'd see it all the time. But in the current meta, or even with the meta coming forward with Kobolds and Catacombs, I was like, where does it fit in? But you guys have swayed me a little bit. I could see it a little bit.
I mean, we're playing Mark of the Lotus, we're playing Earth and Scales. Like, you could easily play one Branching Paths and cut one of those because this card has a lot more versatility.
Interesting. Okay. I like it. We've got 3 more cards to get through here in the next, 10 minutes. So let's see how we do. One thing I do want to note is the card reads choose twice, not choose one. So it will not work with Fandral. Just to reemphasize that.
And that is something the Hearthstone team has said.
And that's confirmed by a primary source. Not like, oh, it doesn't say choose one. It's been confirmed by the Hearthstone team. So, sorry there for that. All right, let's go ahead. Let's talk about Level Up. Level Up is a 5 mana rare paladin spell. Reads, give your silver hand recruits +2/+2 and taunt. Danny?
This card for standard is going to completely make Dude Paladin a thing. You are going to have Dude Paladin archetype in Standard because essentially this is a little bit less powerful Quartermaster, and just based off of the cards that we have available in Wild, the ones that are missing from Standard are Quartermaster and Muster for Battle. And I mean, Muster for Battle, while he's still not having that, this being like a pseudo Quartermaster will make that viable in Standard. That's my hot take for this card. But for Wild, it might be good enough to have like a third Quartermaster in your deck for Dude Paladin, but I don't see it being a 2 of.
Ray?
Yo, I'm about to completely destroy your hopes and dreams, Danny. This card is not Quartermaster at all. And the taunt that it gives is irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, yes.
You are an aggressive deck if you're playing a bunch of Silverhand recruits. Why would Blizzard make this card give it taunt? Taunt is an irrelevant stat if you're an aggressive deck almost 100% of the time. If I'm curving out, if I'm going dudes into level up, why do I want taunt on my creatures? That's so irrelevant.
It is irrelevant, but the +2/+2, I feel, is completely worth it. Yeah, no, I think that I think that it is. You look at
what muster for battle? There's no muster for battle. Well, how are you even making dudes?
Not having muster for battle, but you might even you still have the Darkshire. What is it? The 3 mana 3/3 that gives divine shields to your recruits. You have the Lost in the Jungle. You have the Stand Against Darkness, the Lightfuse Stegodon, and those are all the main cards in the Wild deck. The only one card that's different, minus Minibot, but that can be replaced, is Muster for Battle. So I feel that, especially with the power level compared to Wild to Standard, that can definitely be a card. And one of the big things that mid-range Paladin has is that it is favored against Reno Priest. So that is one of the little niches that I feel that this card will fall into.
I think that without Muster for Battle, the deck is just bad. Right. That's like it's not even close to being anywhere near the same power level.
If we have any motivated and invested listeners at home or in our Discord who want to make a little scorecard, I would love you forever. Because I really want to come back to these in like 2 months and be like, who was right, who wasn't, and why was Ray wrong? JR, what do you think on this one?
I have to sort of agree with Ray on this. I just don't see it working very well. Like, I would rather play Sunkeeper, and
well, you play Sunkeeper as well. It's the thing about Paladin is the
doesn't
redundancy
do anything
of
with
cards.
this.
It's
that
the
makes your 3/3s a 3/3. So
well, you play Terram just like in Wild. You play Terram first, and then you Quartermaster after.
Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I just don't.
I mean,
see
we just had the Wild Vicious Syndicate report come out, and Dude Paladin's #1.
I see this in Wild. Absolutely, I see this in Wild. I just don't see it in Standard.
I see the exact opposite. I don't think it's good enough for Wild, but I see it's going to be good.
See, I don't play Wild enough to know, so I just assumed that. So yeah, no, but the one thing I will say I love about this card is the sound effect and everything else about it. It's kind of cool because it's got that whole World of Warcraft level up thing.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
I wanted to add just one thought here for this, and this is just going, I think ultimately this is a really intriguing card. I just think it's too slow for what we've seen for Paladin archetypes. Assuming that Control Paladin isn't coming back, and if it is, you're not slamming down Silverhand recruits. When's the last time Paladins played a spell over 4? Right? You're looking at Avenging Wrath. One of my favorite cards.
You said that, everyone.
Not there. Lay on Hands. Not really there. Spike Ridge Steed is about the only one, right? And there's like, even then, how often do you see that? I just think it's too slow.
And Dino Size.
Oh, darn. You got me there, JR. Gosh.
The only support it has is Lost in the Jungle, and that's not enough. You need more.
Yeah.
Like you have Vine Cleaver and you have Lost in the whatever makes the 5/1/1s, and all that's just bad.
If I can put out a lot of dudes by turn 4, this card would be actually kind of awesome. But right now in standard, you just can't do that.
Yeah, sure. All right, let's talk about this last one. We got 2 more to go. Katharina Winter Wisp, an 8-mana 6/6 legendary hunter minion, reads Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Recruit a beast. 8-mana 6/6 Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Recruit a beast. One thing that we did learn from this here is that this is the only hunter card in the entire set with Recruit, and not all classes will even get 1 Recruit card. So with that in mind, knowing we won't see any more synergies with Recruit, JR, what do you think of Katharina?
Oh man, you had to start with me, didn't you? Because
I
know the other
with you
two.
for any of the other ones.
I know. But I know the other two are really high up on this, and I just feel like I'm gonna bring it down. Because I look at this, and here's I'll give my reasons why. So in the past, we've seen a lot of hunter legendaries of high cost get played, and every single time I review them, I'm excited as heck for them. Because I'm like, this is going to be the best card in the set. This is going to be the best card in the set. So this time, I'm like, okay, this is a really high-cost card. It looks pretty good on paper. I'm not going to get high up on it and be wrong again. That's my reasoning why. Because I feel like Hunter is in a position, until Hunter gets in that position where it can play these late cards reliably and have a deck that can do it, then this card and other past legendaries that I was high up on could be good. But the way Hunter has been played historically, like, it's just too high of a cost and end up won't see in play with it, even though it has a really cool effect. That's my thought process behind it.
Okay. I want to say something too, because I think I'm going to have a lesser opinionated or a lesser educated response here. But in just thinking about this, assuming that you can build your deck fairly right, like, I feel like it would be really powerful. 6 health is a really good number for minions. Tends to be kind of like the magic number. Gets away from most spells except for Fireball, really. And most minions that are running attack and stuff like that. And so I think that's really great. You're recruiting a beast, which can be pretty exciting. There are some, like, imagine recruiting a Savannah Highmane. Like, come on, like, immediately right there. That's amazing.
Well, like King Crush or something like that.
Well, if you're running
Charged
King
Devil
Crush,
Soar.
yeah, like, I think that's a little bit greedy, but I think that, you know, running, you know, double Sylvanas and Katharina is like, there's a pretty good chance you're going to get at least, if you even get 1 Sylvanas from that, that's really good. Dire, or what's the wolf, 3-mana, 4-mana, 3/3 that summons
Infested Wolf.
Death Rattle. Infested Wolf is another one. Even like Dire Wolf Alpha, right? Buffing your boards. Like, are there any, like, there are some Battle Cry minions that suck to lose, but there's a lot of Death Rattle beasts that Hunter runs as well.
There is a lot of Death Rattle like spells you can play with Hunter too, like Play Dead and things like that would synergize with this. And other Death Rattle cards.
So that's my take. I think it's going to be really good. The question is can Hunter afford to run an 8-mana minion?
Yeah, that's my question.
That would be my question. And I think as things have slowed down, I'm going to say yes. People still run Call of the Wild. And I don't see a reason why this is exceptionally worse than Call of the Wild. So we'll have to see. All right, guys, tell me why I'm wrong.
Well, I actually think this card is going to be very good. If mid-range hunter is good because you're just going to play cards like Savannah Highmane, you're going to play Swamp King Dread, you're just going to play high mana beasts, and maybe you can even do something fun like play low-costed beasts while also playing the 3/5, which is still one of my favorite cards ever printed that gets 2 1-drops, so you can thin your deck out so you don't draw poorly off of your recruit a beast. There's so many different ways I can see playing this card, and I'm excited to try it. I don't know if mid-range hunter is going to be viable, but if it is going to be viable, this card is going to be played in it because you're going to be hitting Savannah Highmane, you're going to be hitting Swamp King Dread, you're going to be hitting maybe even Tundra Rhino, just so many high-value cards, and for 8 mana, that's insane. Best Battle Cry and Death Rattle. Like, it's nuts.
Cool. Danny, closing thoughts, and then we got one more.
So Peter Whalen had mentioned in the stream that there are going to be some more control tools that are being given to Hunter this expansion. So it'll be interesting to see if we can get a mid-range deck in Standard at least. In Wild, I believe I posted this in the Discord. A guy by the name of Reno hit #1 with a mid-range Death Rattle Hunter list that runs the Lich King and has the secret package as like the low end. And I don't believe it runs any beasts, but it runs like Karen and Sylvanas. So you just swap those out for some other Death Rattle beasts like Savannah Highmanes. You put in like a Charged Devilsaur, stuff like that. This is going to be able to be good enough in Wild. So you will definitely see this in Wild.
Cool. Awesome. All right. Last one. And this is the Warrior Spellstone. That is the Lesser Mithril Spellstone. It's a 7 mana spell. Reads summon 1 5/5 Mithril Golem, equip a weapon to upgrade, and when you equip it another one, it's 2 5/5 golems, and then when you equip a weapon a third time, it's 3 5/5 golems. Ray, what do you think here, bud?
Well, right now this card is not good enough because it gets outclassed by cards like N'Zoth or even Dead Man's Hand combined with N'Zoth. Just that whole value package in general is so much better than the value that this card will give you. But once rotation comes and we don't have N'Zoth or we don't have those good value cards, this could be the go-to value card in the future. Because right now, 7 mana for a 5/5 and then 7 mana, like, it's just not better than what we have currently.
Interesting. What do you think, Danny?
I mean, I'd have to agree with Ray. I mean, in Wild, we will always have those cards. So, I mean, as time goes along, I'm going to start becoming more and more pessimistic about cards in Wild. Most of it is synergy based, and this doesn't really synergize specifically with anything unless you're playing like an all weapon deck, which I'm not aware of. But maybe the warrior special weapon, the legendary weapon, is equip and unequip this weapon like 3 times in a turn. So it could always have some super secret synergy that we don't know about.
So, I mean, I think for me, for sure, playing it, a 7 mana 5/5, no good, right? Just that's easily no good. It's worse than Portal, of course, the Mage Portal. 2, so let's say you get 2, so you get 10/10 for 7. Is it? I mean, chances are you're gonna equip an extra weapon, right? So pretty high chances you're gonna get 2. There, but I think it only is worth it when you're getting a 15 worth of stats for 7. And I just you're right. I don't know how good that is, because it is directly equipping a weapon, right? So it doesn't work with like a blank upgrade, correct?
Right.
Does it work with Garrosh? If you play the Death Knight, does that count as equipping a new weapon?
I think it works with upgrade because upgrade it says equip a 1/3 weapon. So It'll definitely work with, I think, all those cards.
Yeah, I think it'll work with that, and it'll work with N'Zoth as well.
And Malkarok, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So
Which I don't think that makes it any more or less playable.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
It's just kind of feels greedy and slow at the same time. It's weird. It's
if they were more
slow.
I think if they were more than just vanilla 5/5s, like this would have been a little more interesting for that. But I don't know what you could have done to not make it overpowered if it wasn't just vanilla 5/5s.
Give you armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if there was something too, if like a mithril golem could be a certain like tribe too, that would even make it, better. If there was like a golem tribe or something where you could buff your golems or something like that.
Maybe it could have been a pirate and give your other pirates +1/+1.
Mithril golem pirate, yeah.
No.
Yeah,
Pull your patches out of your deck.
I think it's really close. It's definitely not the worst card they could have printed, but it definitely at this point doesn't feel like it's definitely not an auto occlude, and even then it feels a little weak. So, all right, there it is. Any other thoughts on the Mithril Spellstone? No? Good, great, grand, wonderful. No yelling on the bus. Let's get out of here. So, thank you guys for joining us for episode 133. We hope you really enjoyed it. Card review season is upon us. Email us if you got thoughts about our card reviews and why you think that I'm always wrong. Keep it to yourself. But if it's anything else, go ahead and send us an email. Matt@BlizzPro.com. We'd love to hear from you and chat about your ideas, questions, thoughts about the show. And we really hope you enjoyed episode 133. We do have a new patron this week, don't we, JR?
Yeah.
Throwing a curveball at you. Yeah.
Yeah, sorry, I had to go look over here because I didn't have it up on my screen. But yes, we did. Thank you, Matthew M. is a new patron for us this week.
Woo.
And hey, Danny, where can they become a new patron?
They all have to put the notes on your screen. You're on a podcast.
I have it there at www.patreon.com/wellmet. It's up there. I just wasn't looking at it.
/Wellmet podcast.
Wellmet podcast. Ooh.
Unbelievable. Podcast. What was that, Ray? Podcast. Podcast.
Yeah, I had to throw a curveball at someone else since John.
Dang it. And then we did get 4 new iTunes reviews, didn't we, Ray?
We did. We got 4 new iTunes reviews. You didn't write it in the show notes.
Because we did it. Because you weren't looking either. You're the worst. You will all suck. Sorry.
Hey, you didn't read the introduction in Spanish.
Because I am full red-blooded American.
Okay, I was assuming that you just forgot.
No. I'm really proud, Ray, because like the way you rolled with that is really great. Unless I totally throw you under the bus.
I mean, I said even though it's not written in the show notes, so
no pass here. Sorry, but we did not get any new iTunes reviews this week. But if you like the show, makes you laugh, you want to support, head on over to iTunes, type in Wellmet, and you'll find us right there. Leave a 5-star review, and we'll make sure that Ray mispronounces your name on the next show.
I can't even.
All right.
English.
You can't even speak English. Yeah, fair enough. All right, fair enough. Let's go ahead and do shout-outs for the week and where people can find you, Danny.
You can find me on Twitter at DannyDonuts_HS and on Twitch at DannyDonuts45. And my shout-out for the week, I'm going to give it up to Hazer, who is the guy who won Control's Wild Invitational.
Oh, nice. Wait, what? Say that again.
Hazer, the guy's name is Hazer, who won Control's Wild Open tournament.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what he said.
That's what
that
I
was
said.
your shout out. Got it.
That was
Sorry,
my
my audio
shout-out,
cut out for a second. And I was like, what? I'm back in the loop now. I apologize. So, okay. Ray, what about you? Shoutouts for the week, and where can people find you? I want to shout out to the face palm, which is the emoji of this episode, I think. Just a face palm. Anyways, Ray.
Well, I did my shout out earlier. Shout outs to Edelweiss for rocking that tournament, taking down some big names, and doing what I couldn't even do because I played in that tournament and I got rocked. So congratulations to her. Good job. And you can find me on Twitter at PG_RayC and on Twitch at twitch.tv/RayC591. I have been streaming a lot more lately, so hopefully you can catch me when I'm live.
Awesome. All right. JR, what about you?
I'm going to give a shout out to all the people that came out and watched my live stream on Friday and Saturday for the Extra Life charity. And a special shout out to Bearcat Girl and Sam Benson for donating. And we raised $60 so far. I'm going to be doing it more. So if you want to see more live streams next month as I try to raise $1,000 or more for the Children's Miracle Network, just head over to twitch.tv/EldorianBP. I'll be streaming for sure this upcoming weekend, probably over Thanksgiving, Thursday and Friday. One of the things I want to do is I want to raffle off 60 packs of Kobolds and Catacombs to those that donate. So I'll have a post up on hearthstone.blizzpro.com on the details of that, so be on the lookout.
Awesome. All right, as for me, I got a couple things. An announcement first. First and foremost, I know a lot of listeners of this show also listen to BlizzPro's Overwatch podcast, The Payload. Sadly, The Payload is no more. So there will not be any more episodes for The Payload. But just thank you, everyone who listened and hung out and enjoyed the show. We still have our Discord for that. So, because there's just so many people in there and we're all kind of tight-knit and close friends and pug and play all the time. So there is still that. But thank you all for that support. Small silver lining. The timing just so happened to be that as we kind of close down The Payload, this next week I will be launching my Overwatch League podcast project. It's going to be called Overwatch League Daily. It's going to be 5 days a week, 10 to 15 minute episodes on Overwatch League news. And so stay tuned to my Twitter for that. Twitter.com/KickedTripod, Twitch.tv/KickedTripod, all that good stuff. All right, let's go ahead and get out of here. This has been episode 133. Big thank you to Jake Butno for our music, Scythe Designs for making our beautiful frames up there. We really appreciate it. If you like the show, iTunes, again, Patreon, all that stuff. Tweet us at WellMet Podcast. Email us wellmet@blizzpro.com. Thank you so much for hanging out for episode 133. We will see you next week.